How much should you spend on a new turntable?
2015 was the 10th year running that sales of records grew, and that means record player sales are booming too, with some shops selling twice as many in 2015 as they did in 2014.
But with a massive difference in price between budget and top-end models, I want to find out how much you really have to shell out to get decent sound.
So I put together a little comparison test. I had a turntable from the budget end of the market, worth about £160, an expensive but not totally outlandish model at nearly £1,000, and a seriously high-end machine, costing over £17,000. And to help discover if it's really worth spending big money, I asked Radio 1 DJ Adele Roberts to help me conduct a listening test.
Are you a vinyl user yourself?
Oh, I love vinyl. I've been DJing for quite a long time now, and I've just kind of, even from school age, saved up to buy vinyl and just kept buying it and storing it and using it. And so, yeah, I've got thousands of vinyl all over the place.
Adele was clearly the perfect partner. So off to work we went. I wanted all the players to sound their best, so hooked them up to an absolutely top-end hi-fi worth 35 grand at the London offices of speaker experts Bowers & Wilkins. What a setup! First, we had a quick examination of each deck's design.
Do they look like 17 grand's difference between them?
I'll be honest, no. I don't think you can tell from looking at them which is the cheapest.
I mean, this is about 150 quid's worth. Do you think all these exposed belts and things, does that worry you? I just worry I might damage them.
Yeah, that is a problem. As a student, I feel like I would have broken that. I've got little nieces now and they would just love to pull that off. This is just a beautiful looking unit and I would love to have that in my house. It's gorgeous.
I mean, well, this is clearly the most expensive one, I think.
This one costs more than my car. And I'm frightened to touch it, but I want to touch it. That, I love that.
Suspension, this is made from old whiskey barrels, apparently, this
okay.
wood.
Yeah, I just want to put some vinyl on it.
Indeed, well, that's the test.
Adele chose to listen to Daft Punk's Get Lucky. The hi-fi, including two 600-watt amps and speakers with diamond tweeters, would make any differences between the players sound as clear as possible. And, as she'd be blindfolded, Adele would have no idea which order I'd play the decks in.
Like the legend of the Phoenix.
Yeah, the first record player sounded wonderful. It was almost like Pharrell was in the room.
This was the Lin.
I could hear backing vocals that I'd not heard before. I could hear him breathing. I think I could hear the auto-tune a bit. It just sounded so crisp and clean.
Perhaps that was due to its nude diamond stylus, or that a stethoscope is used to check the bearings are running smoothly.
Oh God, John! Next one, please.
Next, I played the cheapest model, wondering if she'd still be so impressed.
Like the legend of the Phoenix.
Huge difference between player 1 and player 2.
Ah.
Everything seemed like it got compressed and squashed, and the sound sounded quite muddy.
The project has Teflon-coated bearings for smoothness and a thick MDF platter to absorb vibrations, but the difference was clear.
I feel like I could hear the record player speeding up and slowing down. It just reminded me of belt drive record decks that I practiced on when I was rubbish at DJing, so it kind of made me feel a bit like, ugh.
So it was on to the mid-priced player. Like the cheap one, it uses MDF and Teflon-coated bearings, but would Adele hear any difference?
She's up all night to the sun.
Player 3 sounded a lot like player 1, but it just wasn't as dynamic and the sound wasn't as crisp.
High praise indeed from Adele.
Player 3 was a quality sound, but I couldn't really hear Pharrell's breaths anymore. But it was a gorgeous, clean sound.
It seemed her expert ears could tell the decks apart, but she didn't yet know if her hunch was right.
Okay, I think I know which is which.
Keeps on giving.
Aha! So, do take your blindfold off. Which was which?
Okay, I think A was the most expensive.
Absolutely right.
I think B was the least expensive.
Also absolutely right.
Yes, and C the mid-range.
Brilliant.
Yeah.
Totally convincing. Excellent.